Kenya fallout, the impact of British forces training. In the heart of East Africa, a nation with a vibrant history and robust culture, a complex narrative unfolds as over 10,000 British forces train annually in Kenya. The results? An economic infusion alongside a hotbed of significant social challenges. The drama of this unfolding saga is not just etched in economic figures, but resonated in the lives of many Kenyans, a tale of prosperity tangled with adversity. With the UK's influence casting long shadows, we delve into a compelling discourse on the controversial presence of British forces in Kenya. This story dates back to a long-time military collaboration where British forces have historically found a training ground in Kenya. The policy continues, fostering a contingent of British soldiers equipped through Kenyan land and resources. But what lies beneath this long-standing alliance? Let's unravel the multifaceted impacts shaping Kenya today. On paper, one might marvel at the numbers. The presence of the British Army injects approximately £58 million into the Kenyan economy annually. With local markets bustling with opportunity, this could tantamount to a boon impossible to dismiss lightly. The economic windfall doesn't just stay in governmental coffers, but finds its way into the pockets of ordinary Kenyans. Take, for instance, the massive infrastructural commitments. The construction of the Nayati barracks materialized through hefty £70 million investments. Such funding speaks volumes of the promise for enhanced infrastructure, ostensibly leaving a robust legacy for Kenyan development. But at what cost does such development come? More direct, perhaps, are the tangible job opportunities. The involvement of the British Army translates into jobs for roughly 550 local civilians, positions that can mean the difference between subsistence and starvation for many families. These employment prospects resonate powerfully within communities, painting a vibrant picture of possibilities and improved livelihoods. The economic stimulus goes beyond mere numbers. It filters through the veins of local enterprises. From bustling market stalls catered to soldiers to service sectors finding new patrons, the ripple effects positively stimulate the economy. The resultant economic momentum appears undeniable, a well-oiled engine driven by foreign military presence. However, when we peek past economic horizons, we witness a dramatic departure from promise to predicament. The societal fingerprints left by the British military presence tell a tale less celebratory, more contentious. The discord between economic upliftment and social upheaval strikes a controversial chord resonating soundly through Kenyan communities. Among the controversies lie poignant narratives of paternal abandonment, a painful offshoot of mixed national relationships. Children fathered by British soldiers often wrestle with a sense of being marooned. Lacking acknowledgement, they navigate a complex identity maze. How does Kenya balance these stakes? The emotional scars run deep, punctuating the dialogue with heart-wrenching tales of disconnection. These children, struggling through the duality of a mixed-race identity, often encounter social exclusion. Within a largely conservative society, this mixed heritage marks them as the other, setting them apart and alienating them from cherished cultural narratives and norms. The contours of their struggles ostensibly tie to broader societal biases, a topic sparking heated debates. On the legal battleground, Kenyan lawyer Kelvin Kubai champions their cause. Human rights advocacy charts a course aimed at confronting these voiceless specters, urging British courts to reconsider the facets of citizenship and social responsibility. But how much sway does morality hold against the cold statutes of law? Kubai's legal campaign seeks citizenship rights for these children, a legal odyssey not just for legal identity, but a clamor for justice and recognition. Presented before British courts, these cases echo a louder plea, a clarion call for the world to witness and address the weight of hybrid identities and abandoned legacies. Equally troubling is the web of accountability entangling British authorities. Allegations of non-consensual relationships fester, eroding trust and underscoring institutional inadequacies. Systems meant to safeguard human rights appear skewed, a failure to support victims whose lives remain in limbo amid this diplomatic quagmire. The emotional toll demands empathy and understanding. For many descendants, The lack of paternal presence molds their emotional well-being, casting shadows over their formative years. Psychological duress and identity crises mark their existence, shaping narratives of resilience amidst adversity. Placing individual stories at the heart of discourse deepens understanding. A tapestry of personal experiences highlights the gravity of the issue, breathing life through first-hand accounts. Their voices, their stories resonate with power, a confrontation with raw narratives too compelling to dismiss. The presence of foreign forces and resultant interracial dynamics trigger ripple effects across communities. Cultural perceptions exacerbate these challenges as societal conservatism grapples with evolving identities and values. Exploring this dichotomy unearths deep-seated responses, both acceptance and rejection. Kenya's narrative finds parallels in other host countries, where foreign military presence stirs similarly intricate dynamics. Lessons from their trials and responses offer Kenya avenues, a way to navigate the undercurrents of international military engagement. In this stew of conflict and cooperation, governmental response bears scrutiny. The role of Kenyan and UK authorities surfaces a dialogue on mitigation and mediation strategies. Amidst it all, diplomatic channels labor to preserve relations, seeking solutions amid rising tensions. Peering through a lens of possibility, potential solutions manifest. They stem from a proactive ethos, aiming to align economic benefits with humanitarian foresight. Propositions range from enhanced support systems to bilateral dialogue aimed at honoring both economic and human rights. At the intersection of economy and society, international relations serve as both a lens and a mirror, shaping and reflective of this ongoing narrative. As nations engage, the orchestration of diplomacy and dialogue emerges as a critical aspect of conflict resolution. Global human rights safeguards anchor this dialogue, demanding accountability and transparency. International organizations' role underpins these efforts, advocating for the voiceless and mediating accountability, thus drawing global attention to these hidden in plain sight injustices. Economic dependency might breed prosperity, but is not without perils. The long arm of influence fosters reliance, exposing Kenya to vulnerabilities should foreign interests waver. How can Kenya leverage this capital influx without compromising its sovereign autonomy? The legal scaffolding underpinning these arrangements, bilateral agreements, remains open to scrutiny and revision. As both nations pivot amidst evolving challenges, revisiting these accords becomes pivotal to establishing a fair balance of economic and humanitarian considerations. Engagement springs from informed awareness, a narrative largely shaped by media portrayals and public perception. Media coverage galvanizes attention. It shapes discourse, demanding both accountability and nuance amidst portrayal. Civil society steps into the foreground, foregrounding advocacy and awareness through public dialogue. Encouraging discursive platforms illuminates paths to resolution, ensuring diverse perspectives guide solutions at the nexus of policy and people. Reflecting on the economic influx, the narrative encapsulates a dichotomy of growth and dependence. While numbers define promises made, the lived experience and potential shape promises kept. The twin specters of economic benefit and social upheaval marshal attention, urging an understanding that appreciates nuance. Engaging a holistic lens provides a clearer synthesis of benefiting and balancing respondent challenges. Solutions flourish in collaboration. The altar of collective action provides pathways for pragmatic responses. Multi-stakeholder engagement prompts an amalgam of policies, balancing economy and empathy into an actionable framework. As we reflect on this intricate narrative, economic prosperity dovetailing with social disturbances, the critical need for balanced discourse emerges. Resolving the Kenya fallout requires wisdom in tempering economic pursuits with human rights advocacy, addressing complexities with cohesive solutions. Viewers, be not passive observers. Engage in discourse, foster dialogue that informs and enlightens. challenge the issues, champion solutions for narratives shift on the shoulders of informed citizens. Where do we venture from here? The future of British forces in Kenya hinges on understanding, collaboration, and alignment. As nations partner, let this engagement blossom, a future where economic potential fuels equitable progress, nurturing hopes into realities.